My name is Catherine Morgan. I'm 35 years old. 2 months ago, I walked into my bank to wire a down payment for my dream house and watched the teller's face go pale when she pulled up my account. The savings account I'd been building for 12 years, the one that should have had $380,000, showed a balance of $247. I remember laughing, actually laughing, because it had to be a mistake. "There must be an error," I said calmly. "Can you check again?" She did. Same number, $247. Then I asked to see the transaction history, and I watched 12 years of my life drain away in 3 wire transfers over 6 months. $127,000 in January, $128,000 in March, $125,000 in May, all authorized by my mother, who I'd added to my account 5 years ago in case of emergency. The memo line on the last transfer read, "For Melissa's happiness," but what my parents didn't know was that their financial advisor, the one who'd helped them hide the transfers, was married to my college roommate. And when I walked into that bank 2 weeks later with my attorney, a fraud investigator, and a court order, the branch manager's face went from professional courtesy to absolute horror in about 5 seconds. Before I tell you what happened when I asked my mother to explain those transfers in front of witnesses, please like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy this story. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from and what time is it there? I love connecting with all of you. Now, let me take you back to where this pattern really began. Growing up in Seattle, I learned early that some children are investments and others are ATMs. My family. Dad, a software engineer who retired at 52 with stock options worth millions. Mom, who never worked but managed our family finances like a CFO. My sister Melissa, 3 years younger, beautiful, and convinced the world should arrange itself around her needs. And me, the responsible one, the one who could handle things alone. Melissa got gifts. I got lectures about financial responsibility. When I was 16, I got my first job at a bookstore. I worked 20 hours a week, saved every penny for college. I was so proud of my first $1,000 in savings. Dad looked at my bank book and said, "Good, you're learning the value of money." That same month, Melissa wanted a car for her 13th birthday, a brand new Mini Cooper. $32,000. They bought it and let her post photos of herself sitting in it for 3 years before she could legally drive it. I told myself it was fine. She was younger. They were indulgent. At 23, I graduated with my MBA, debt-free because I'd worked full-time through school. My parents came to graduation but left early. Melissa had a spa day scheduled. 2 weeks later, they gave Melissa $50,000 to find herself in Europe. She came back with expensive handbags and no job prospects. I got a card with a Starbucks gift card inside. I told myself I didn't need their money. I had my degree, my career, my own path. Last year, I asked if they'd co-sign a loan for a house. My credit was excellent, my income strong, but Seattle's market was brutal for single buyers. Dad laughed. "Catherine, you're 34. If you can't afford a house by now, you need to reconsider your career choices." 3 months later, they bought Melissa a house outright. $680,000. "She needs stability," Mom explained. "She's been through so much." Melissa's so much was 2 failed relationships and 3 jobs she'd quit, but I kept saving. Every bonus, every raise. I opened a high-yield savings account at 23 and put $500 a month into it religiously. As my salary grew, the deposits grew. By 30, I was putting $3,000 monthly into savings. The account was my fortress, my future, my proof I could do it alone. 5 years ago, Mom had a health scare. "What if something happens?" she said. "Who will access my accounts if I'm incapacitated?" She asked me to add her to my account as co-owner. "Just for emergencies, so someone responsible has access if you need help. I hesitated, but she was my mother. I added her to the account that held 12 years of savings. The first withdrawal happened in January, 9 months ago. I was on a business trip and didn't check my account for 2 weeks. When I finally looked, I saw the transfer. $127,000. I called my mother immediately. "Mom, did you make a withdrawal from my account?"
"Oh, that."
Her voice was casual. "Melissa needed a down payment for some renovations. I knew you wouldn't mind." "That's my money. You can't just take—" "Catherine, don't be selfish. Family helps family. You have plenty. I've been saving that for 12 years. And you'll save it again. Melissa needed it now. Stop making this dramatic." She hung up. I sat in my hotel room shaking. $127,000. Gone. Just gone. I told myself it was a loan. She'd pay it back. I'd document it and get it back. Then in March, another transfer. $128,000. I called my mother again. This time she sounded annoyed. "Melissa needed furniture and to pay off some credit cards. You really need to stop being so possessive about money, Catherine. It's not attractive." "This is theft. It's family. You're being ridiculous." I should have gone to the bank then. I should have removed her access immediately. But I was still operating under the belief that my mother wouldn't deliberately destroy me. In May, the third transfer. $125,000. This time when I called, Dad answered. "Your mother told me you've been harassing her about helping Melissa. That's not acceptable, Catherine. She's stolen $380,000 from my savings." "We didn't steal anything. Your mother is authorized on that account. She exercised her legal right to access funds for family needs." "My funds! My 12 years of savings!" "If you'd wanted it to be only your money, you shouldn't have added your mother to the account. This is a valuable lesson about trust." He hung up. I sat on my bathroom floor and cried until I threw up. That night, I pulled every document I had. Bank statements going back 12 years, deposit records, the signature card where I'd added my mother, every email, every text message about the account. Then I called my old college roommate, Jennifer. We'd stayed close over the years, meeting for coffee every few months. She worked in marketing, married to a financial advisor named David Chen. "Jen," I said, my voice hollow, "I need help." We met the next morning. I showed her everything. She looked physically ill. "Catherine, this is financial abuse. Textbook elder financial abuse, except you're not elderly. This is just abuse." "What do I do?" "Talk to David. He specializes in financial fraud recovery." David met me that afternoon. When I told him the story, he went quiet. "I can't represent you directly. There's a conflict of interest." My heart sank. "What conflict?" "I know your parents' financial advisor, Robert Morrison. He helped them set up the transfers from your account. He knew it was your money. He processed it anyway." The room tilted. "Their advisor helped them steal from me?" "Robert bragged about it last month. A complex family wealth transfer. When he mentioned the amount and your mother's name, I got suspicious. But I couldn't say anything without proof." "Now you have proof," I said. "Now I have proof, and Robert is in serious trouble." David connected me with Elizabeth Park, an attorney specializing in financial fraud. Elizabeth listened with focused intensity. "Here's what we do," she said. "Remove your mother's access immediately. File a police report for theft. Get a court order freezing your parents' assets. Sue for recovery plus damages." "They're my parents," I whispered. "They stole $380,000 from you. What they are is criminals." It took 3 weeks to build the case. Elizabeth worked with the bank's fraud department, Robert Morrison's compliance officer, and a forensic accountant. The evidence was devastating. I deposited $387,000 over 12 years. My mother had withdrawn $380,000 in 6 months. The money went to a joint account held by my parents and Melissa, used to pay cash for Melissa's house renovations, furniture, a new car, and $78,000 in credit card debt. None of them had ever intended to pay me back. Elizabeth filed criminal charges first: theft, fraud, exploitation. Then she filed civil suits for recovery of funds, damages, and emotional distress. My parents' attorney called within 24 hours. "Your mother was authorized on the account. This is a civil matter at best, not criminal. Your client took $380,000 that she didn't earn and didn't deposit," Elizabeth said calmly. "Authorization doesn't mean ownership. The money was clearly Catherine's based on the deposit history. Your client committed theft. We're prepared to offer a payment plan. We're not negotiating until there's a criminal investigation. Your clients will speak to the police, or will proceed with prosecution." The detective assigned to my case was Sandra Torres, who'd worked financial crimes for 15 years. "The hardest cases are like yours," she told me, "where the victim keeps hoping it's a misunderstanding, where family pressure makes you doubt reality. I keep thinking I should have just let it go. If someone not related to you had stolen $380,000, would you let it go?" "No." "Then why should family get a pass for doing something worse?" I cried in her office. She handed me tissues. "We're going to make this right," she said. The bank, meanwhile, was panicking. Branch manager Thomas Webb called me personally. "We're conducting an internal investigation." "Your employee helped my parents steal from me," I said flatly. "We had no indication of fraud. Your fraud prevention should have caught this." There was a long pause. "We'd like to discuss a resolution. Talk to my attorney." 3 days later, Elizabeth called. "The bank is offering a settlement. They'll refund the $380,000 plus interest if you agree not to sue for negligence." I nearly dropped the phone. "They'll give it back?" "They're covering their liability, but yes, they'll restore your account in full." "What about my parents?" "That's separate. The criminal charges proceed, the civil suit proceeds, but at least you're not financially destroyed." The bank required a formal meeting to process the settlement. Thomas Webb requested that I come in to sign paperwork and verify the account restoration. I agreed, but I made one request. My parents had to be there. Elizabeth set it up. She told my parents' attorney that there were questions about the account that required my mother's presence since she'd been a co-owner. She didn't tell them about the settlement. She didn't tell them about the criminal investigation's progress. She just said we needed a meeting to clarify the account status. My parents arrived at the bank on a Tuesday afternoon, dressed like they were going to a country club. My mother wore pearls. Dad wore a blazer. They both looked annoyed. I was already there with Elizabeth, sitting in Thomas Webb's office. Detective Torres was in the hallway in plain clothes, waiting. When my parents walked in and saw me, Mom's expression shifted from annoyance to anger. "What is this?" "Please sit down," Thomas Webb said. His voice was professional but cold. They sat. Mom glared at me. Dad looked at his watch. Thomas Webb pulled up my account on his computer screen and turned the monitor so they could see it. "Mrs. Morgan, you were listed as a co-owner on this account, correct?" "Yes," my mother said impatiently. "Catherine added me years ago." "And you made 3 withdrawals this year: $127,000 in January, $128,000 in March, and $125,000 in May, correct?" "I had authorization. Catherine is being dramatic about a family matter." "Did Catherine give you permission to make those specific withdrawals?" Mom's mouth thinned. "I didn't need her permission. I was on the account." "Actually," Elizabeth interjected, "being an authorized user doesn't give you ownership of funds you didn't deposit. Catherine has records showing she deposited every single dollar in this account over 12 years. You deposited nothing. You withdrew $380,000. That's theft. Dad leaned forward. Now wait just a minute. No, you wait. I spoke for the first time, and my voice was steady. I worked for 12 years to save that money. I lived in cheap apartments while Melissa got a $680,000 house. I drove a 10-year-old car while she got a new BMW. I asked you to co-sign a loan, not even give me money, and you told me I needed to reconsider my career choices. Mom's face flushed. We gave Melissa what she needed. You gave Melissa what she wanted using money you stole from me, money I earned, money I saved, money you had absolutely no right to take. Thomas Webb cleared his throat. Ms. Morgan, can you explain the purpose of these withdrawals? My mother looked trapped. Melissa needed help with her house. Catherine had plenty of money. I had $380,000. Now I have $247. That's not plenty. That's theft. We're family! Mom's voice rose. Family helps each other. You've always been selfish. I've always been a bank account to you. I pulled out a folder. Want to know what else I'd been documenting? Every gift you've given Melissa versus me over the past 15 years. You've given her $1.2 million in cash, houses, cars, trips, and debt payments. You've given me $12,000 total, but somehow I'm the selfish one? The office went silent. Dad tried to recover. We can pay you back. We'll set up a payment plan. You're $380,000 in debt to me, I said, plus interest, plus damages, plus legal fees. But that's not even what hurts most. I looked at my mother, really looked at her. What hurts is that you didn't see me as your daughter. You saw me as someone who could handle being robbed because I'm strong enough to recover. You saw Melissa as someone who needed protection and gifts and a house bought with my life savings. You stole from me because you knew I'd survive it. You gave to her because you knew she couldn't survive without help. My mother's eyes filled with tears, but I couldn't stop. The saddest part is that I would have helped. If you'd asked, if you'd respected me enough to ask, I probably would have loaned Melissa money. But you didn't ask. You just took. Because my consent didn't matter. My feelings didn't matter. I didn't matter. Thomas Webb pulled out a document. Mrs. Morgan, I need you to sign here acknowledging that you made these withdrawals. Mom looked panicked. Why do I need to sign anything? Because the bank is refunding Miss Catherine Morgan the full $380,000, plus interest due to irregularities in how these withdrawals were processed. We need documentation that you made the withdrawals so we can pursue recovery from you directly. My mother went white. You're giving her the money back? Yes, today. The bank is covering it as a settlement due to our failure to flag suspicious activity. Dad stood up. This is absurd. You can't just... Elizabeth pulled out another document. Mr. and Mrs. Morgan, I'm also serving you with notice that criminal charges have been filed for theft over $100,000. Detective Torres is outside waiting to take your statements. Mom started crying. Real tears this time. Catherine, please. We're your parents. How can you do this to us? How could you steal $380,000 from me? I asked quietly. How could you watch me struggle to save for a house and then use my savings to buy Melissa one? How could you call me selfish for wanting my own money back? We gave you life, Mom sobbed. We raised you, fed you, clothed you. That's called being a parent. It's not a debt I owe you, and it definitely doesn't give you the right to drain my bank account. Thomas Webb stood. I think this meeting is concluded. Mrs. Morgan, if you don't sign this acknowledgement, we'll proceed with our fraud investigation of the account, which could result in criminal charges against you from the bank as well. My mother signed with shaking hands. Detective Torres came in then. Mr. and Mrs. Morgan, I need you to come with me to answer some questions about the withdrawals from your daughter's account. they left in tears. Dad kept looking back at me like he didn't recognize me. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt tired. After they left, Thomas Webb pulled up my account. Ms. Morgan, your new balance is $386,247.18. That's your original $380,000, plus interest calculated from the withdrawal dates. I stared at the number. 12 years of my life, restored in a single transaction. Thank you, I whispered. That was 2 months ago. The criminal investigation is ongoing. My parents' attorney has offered 3 different settlement proposals, all of which Elizabeth has rejected because they don't include any actual accountability, just payment plans with no admission of wrongdoing. Melissa hasn't contacted me once. According to Jennifer, whose husband David is cooperating with the investigation, Melissa claimed she didn't know the money came from my account. The paper trail says otherwise. There are texts between her and my mother explicitly discussing using Catherine's savings. I pressed charges against Melissa too. She was an accessory. She knew it was stolen money and accepted it anyway. My parents' friends have called me, aunts and uncles I haven't spoken to in years, all with the same message. I'm tearing the family apart. I'm being vindictive. I should forgive and move on. I've blocked most of them. The ones I responded to got the same answer. They stole $380,000 from me. If you think I should just accept that, you're welcome to give them the money to pay me back. None of them have offered. What I have done is this. I bought my house, the one I'd been saving for. It's small, 2 bedrooms in a quiet neighborhood. The mortgage payment is less than my old rent. I own something tangible that no one can take from me. I started therapy to process 35 years of being treated like a resource instead of a person. My therapist has helped me understand that what happened wasn't just theft. It was a pattern of devaluation that made the theft possible. And I've stopped shrinking myself to make others comfortable. Here's what I've learned. When someone steals from you, they're not betting on your greed. They're betting on your guilt. They're betting that you'll feel too ashamed to make a scene, too afraid of being labeled the bad guy to demand justice. My mother bet that I'd be too conflict-averse to fight back, that I'd absorb the loss because that's what I'd always done, that I'd prioritize family peace over my own financial security. She bet wrong. People will tell you that family is everything, that you should forgive, that money isn't worth destroying relationships over. But here's what I know now. Family isn't defined by DNA. It's defined by how people treat you. And $380,000 isn't just money. It's 12 years of sacrifice, discipline, and hope for a future. It's the difference between security and starting over at 35. Anyone who thinks you should just absorb that loss to keep the peace is telling you that your suffering matters less than their comfort. My parents taught me that I existed to serve Melissa's needs, that my purpose was to be strong enough not to need them while funding their ability to spoil her. The bank, ironically, taught me something different, that I had legal rights, that theft is theft, even when committed by family, that institutions designed to protect money took my loss more seriously than the people who were supposed to protect me. If you're watching this and you see yourself in my story, if you're the one who's always expected to sacrifice, to understand, to absorb the losses while others receive the gifts, please hear me. You deserve protection. Your work deserves respect. Your boundaries deserve enforcement. You don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You don't have to fund someone else's comfort with your own suffering. And you definitely don't have to call theft family helping family just because the thief is related to you. Document everything. Know your rights. Get professional help. And understand that protecting yourself isn't punishment, it's survival. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever experienced financial abuse from family? How did you handle it? What helped you recognize it for what it was? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story helped you, Please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And remember, being the strong one doesn't mean you have to carry everyone else's weight. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is set it down and walk away.